Hey everybody. If you watched the video I posted on how I built this water feature here that I'm calling the bird spa, you probably saw at the very end where I was thinking about redoing the entire thing, actually, because I had a little bit of a leak. I know the leak's not coming from the basin here because I only ran the pump during the day, and when I'd come back out in the mornings there was no water loss in the basin here, so it had to be somewhere up in here. So what I've got to do is pull away all these rocks, get them out of the way, and then I'm probably going to have to, on some of them that have the waterfall foam around them, pull some of that off. And then I mentioned in that video too that I was going to try to redo this part right here and bring it out level a little bit more, and then drop it down into a final pool before it dumps into the basin here. So I'm not going to bore you with watching me pull all the rocks away. I'll start videoing after I get that part done and show you what everything looks like. I got the rocks pulled yesterday, and now what I'm left with is the pond liner, and then underneath the pond liner is a layer of landscape fabric that I had put down. So I'm going to get that pulled, and then I'll come back and show you what I got and what I hope to do. Got the pond liner out, cleaned it up a little bit because I'm going to use it underneath the new pond liner because of an extra layer of protection. And then I also got the landscape fabric pulled, and I'll put another layer of that down first once I start reshaping. But kind of what the idea is, that was the top pool up there. That was okay. So I want to extend that out a little further here. So I'll probably collapse some of this, or either that or just fill in right in this area here and extend that top section and have it a little bit more linear, and then somehow dropping down into a bottom area here. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to deal with this area here, or how the rocks, the waterfall finally falls into the basin here. So I've got all these rocks. Now I just got to figure out how to put them together and not have any spaces left over. Here's what I think I'm going to go with. Starting down here, I cut out more of this back here. I was having problems last time not being able to, once I put the liner down, it kind of thickens it up a little bit. And so I wasn't able to put rocks in this area like I'd wanted to. So I'm thinking cutting that back is going to give me some. And then I want to try to get rocks that overlap a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. And then back here, I filled in right here. So this comes out a little bit more flat. And then there'll be some kind of cascade right here, but hopefully a bigger pool down here than what was there. So what I'm going to do now is get the liner out and just do a test on it and see how it looks. Yeah, I've got the liner down. This time I'm not going to trim any of it until I get all the rocks down. That could have been one of the mistakes I made too, especially down in this area here. So now I'm just going to start laying rocks and see what happens. It's now 3 days after I started tearing apart the bird spa, and I've gotten quite a bit done. The first day though, I started laying rock. I didn't get very much done at all. I spent more time staring than I did actually laying rocks, and I got a few laid up here. But one mistake I've already made so far is I did not make the top pool as level as it needs to be. So I got to peel back, take those rocks out, peel back the liner, and kind of dig that out just a little bit more to make it a little bit more level. And then, but I did manage to pull this out more, which was one of my goals. I'm hoping this is going to work out really good. I got a couple of nice flat rocks there, so the pool will fill up and then just kind of go over here, spill down. I've got more rock I've got to fill in, obviously. And then the waterfall foam is coming today, so I need to get some foaming done also. And then the bottom pool is a whole lot different than it used to be. That's going to be a little bit deeper, and it should fill up and then spill through this crack here, which I'll put foam in here, and kind of just either spill over the top some, or I may let it just drip out from here. It won't matter because there's liner all back through there, so I don't have to worry about it leaking out any. And then down here, I've got to figure out how far down I need to cut it off, and then what I'm going to put in there to hide the liner. And then, like I said, obviously I got more filling in to do here, and places over here, so that's what I'm getting ready to work on now. I got the liner peeled back and did a little bit of digging. I don't know if you're going to be able to see or not, but it is a whole lot more level. I don't want it perfectly level because I want different water depths, and but I can always adjust that with the amount of rock that I put in there. So next is putting the liner back, putting the rocks back, and I think I've got, well, I know I've got a huge rock over somewhere in the yard that I may end up trying to harvest, roll over here, and use it for this area in here. So we'll see how that goes. So I think I'm ready to start foaming. Amazon came. Got the foam cans here. This one's by Total Pond. There's a couple of, I think it was Aquascapes is another brand name. But when you do this, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show it or not because I need gloves. It is very messy. But there's a spray nozzle that comes with this one, and you put that on and start squirting it in. And of course, if you ever use that like great stuff or whatever it is, it expands big time, so you just let it expand. Try not to overfill your cracks, and let it dry, and then cut off the excess. So what I'm going to be doing is, now I've still got more rocks to lay, but I've got enough down to where I can start foaming, and the stuff above, where, like in here, where I need to fill in, that I don't necessarily need to foam above that, but I do need to be able to get the nozzle in behind the rocks. So I've left some of those rocks off for now. And then all in here is going to have foam. And then of course, all around the edges, I don't know if this is going to show up too good because of the light, but all around these edges here will get foam. And then over there by the spillway is going to get foam also. Let's see if I turn this way, whether it's any better. Not really. But anyhow, wish me luck. I hope I got all the foaming done yesterday. I ordered 4 cans and ended up using 3 of the 12-ounce cans. And as you can see, I did what I told you not to do, is I oversprayed in some places like this, and so I got to go back, and some of it just easily breaks off, and others take a razor knife and just trim it off. The most important thing was to get these areas here to make sure there's no leaking underneath the rock. I wouldn't lose water out of the system that way. It would all still drop down into here, but obviously I want to build up, have that block so the level of the pool builds up and then hopefully spills off this area. So up here, the same thing. I think I mentioned in a previous clip that I was going to try to harvest a bigger rock from the yard, and this is it here. And that worked out really well, and you can see how I foamed around the edges of that so there's no water leakage. And then same thing right here. So the idea is going to be for this pool to fill up and then spill over these rocks and then spill down in here. And then I've still got some other work to do, but I think everything is do the trimming, and later on today I'm going to be ready to test it out. I think the cans say to let the foam sit for 12 to 24 hours, and so 24 hours will be just right after lunch today, and I think by then I'm going to be ready. Oh, also too, I've got to clean out the pool here, the basin. Had a bunch of dirt drop in there, and get those rocks out and get the water clear and get everything ready to go. So I'll check back in once I get all that done, and we'll turn this thing on and see how it goes. Well, I cheated on you. I had to turn the spa on to see how it was doing. And for the most part, it's doing pretty good. One mistake I made was this flat rock right here was not high enough. So it's not letting enough water build up back here. So temporarily, I'm going to have to fix it. We're getting ready to go away on a trip, and I'll have to fix it when I get back. I put these two flat rocks just laying in there, and that helped build up the water back in this back section. And then there's a little pool there, but what I'm going to do is find a flat rock and put it here and caulk it in and let that build up a little bit more. Also too, now it's deep enough as it is. If I just leave the liner showing, which is a possibility, that's what the black is. But once I put the little river pebbles down there, then it's not deep enough for the birds to splash around in. But I actually had one. I looked out the window a little bit ago, and white-throated sparrow was up here splashing around. So that's a pretty good sign. So down here, the water does drip down just like I had hoped. And this pool right here is a good couple of inches deep. So that's working out pretty good. A little bit better than I thought. And plenty of room for even a large bird to, like a blue jay or something, to splash around. And then, so I've still got a lot of work to do to finish it up. Won't do that till we get back. And then down here, everything's going just about as planned. The water doesn't matter if the water drips down here, because I'll fix this up down here. It's dripping through the liner and emptying into the basin. And I've had it running for about 3 hours now, and I haven't noticed a bit of water loss. So I think all the water is being contained in the system. So that's it. I'll film some more when I get some more work done. So it's now February 14th. I hadn't had a chance to work on the spa in a while. We were gone on a trip out to Arizona, and then by the time we got back, the ice storm hit, and then a snowstorm on top of that, and some really cold weather. So it's just been kind of miserable and not fit to work on the spa here. But I think I am finished, except for adding. I got a little bit more moss to add, and then a few more rocks to place. But this turned out a lot better than I thought it would. It's not what I had pictured to start out with, but this is the top pool here. I ended up adding this very flat rock and put some moss on top of it for the birds to come hop into here. Plenty of room for birds. I've seen 3 bathing at a time in here. It's about 1 inch deep at the deepest. And then I think I had this rock here last time I filmed to help build up the water back there. That's worked out really good. I added this rock here, and I think I said I was going to try to build that up, and that's worked out really good. I never did caulk it in. I just got it sitting there, and I've seen birds bathing in that. So that's worked out pretty good there. Water comes down here. This pool turned out actually better than I thought it would. I've had robins in here, cardinals, blue jay, some of the sparrows. So the birds have really been using that part too. And then the water drips down here. I did a little bit of fixing up here. I think I showed you in the last one that the liner here was kind of wonky. Still is over here, but I didn't want to cut it too short and have the water dripping back underneath, like I think was one of my problems last time. And then I added, to try to hide a little bit of that liner, I had a piece of terracotta, 12-inch piece of terracotta, that pipe that I just stood up on end, stacked a couple rocks on top of it. Then over here in the shallower end of the basin, I put a paver down here and then stacked up some rocks there to try to hide things. And actually the bird's been using that to hop around on. There's a little bit of dripping going on, and I've seen them drinking from that too. Also too, I've got this stick in here, which helps hide the liner a little bit. But also too, if anything falls in here, like had a skink in here last year that I was able to get out before it died, they can use this. Though I need to add some more water to it, but use this to crawl up and get out. So I think overall everything has turned out actually better than I thought it would. I think the thing looks a whole lot better than my last version. The birds, I don't know if they really care or not, but there've been more birds able to use the top section up there than there were last time. There was only room for one, pretty much. Sometimes a couple of small ones would get in there, but I've seen now 3 and 4 in there at a time and not squawking at each other. So if you have any questions, please feel free to comment, and I'll do my best to try to get back with you. And if you're thinking about doing one, you could get away with just having something like, if you live in a flat area, something like this. All you need is to lift your spillway up a little bit, have just a little bit of slope down in here. That's enough for several birds, you know, like I said, to enjoy splashing around. And then down in here, you would have to figure out some way to have some kind of catch basin where your pump is, and have a piece of pipe that pumps the water back up to the spillway. So you should be able to figure out something, man. There's all sorts of possibilities, and you might be able to do it with something that's just laying around your house, as long as you got you know, a few rocks to work with. Like I said, if you got any questions, please feel free to comment, and hopefully I'll do a better job than I did last year of posting videos. I got a lot of video taken, waiting to be processed, and even got some from this year so far. So I'll do what I can. Thanks for watching.